Hello and welcome to xParticle tutorial. In this tutorial we will talk about some very simple techniques that you can create some cool effects with xParticle. We will cover in this tutorial dynamics, xpFlowField, generators, xpOpenVDBMesher. This PDF file is available on description. You can download it and it will help you for your learning process. And finally, we will talk about utilities, xpCirclepacker. In Cinema 4D, we select the text, and after selecting the text, I recommend to choose a bold font. You can choose any font you like, but the bold will work better. Now we have the text. We go to the XP system. Here is our particle system. In XP Emitter, and you can see the default shape is let's hide the text, and you can see is a rectangle. And you can emitter shape, you can change to the circle, sphere, or a box. But for this tutorial, we will choose the object because we want to emit from the text, and text will be selected as our object. Let's put the text in utilities, and here will be more organized than in XP Emitter. When you select it, we will drag the text on object. Now is emitting all of the particles from the surface, but in Emmit From you can still choose. You have more options from polygons or polygon center or polygon area, and we will choose the polygon area to cover all of the surface. We select emission tab and reduce the speed to 0. We don't need any speed, and let's hide the text. And you can see the particles cover very beautiful the text. And one more thing, we should change emission from rate to the shot. On display mode, we can change the particle from square to circle or circle field shape. Let's choose the circle field, and from single color to random color. Then we have better view in preview for the particles on our text. Now we should choose from utility the xpPacker, xpCirclepacker, and when you select it in emitter, you will drag xpEmitter. Now you see the changes. Particles are more beautifully on our text. You can choose the maximum size here, change it to 10, and you can play with it with different number to see how it will work. You can also change the shot count in emission to 500 or 5000, and will give you a different results. We will stay with the 1000 shot, and maybe we will change from 10 to 8 the maximum radius. Yeah, this is, I think, will work. And in xpEmitter, now we must think about how to make this object animate. There are a lot of different ways, for example using from modifier gravities, but we can choose the Nexus is new, that you can, it's working with GPU, and we will choose the nxExplode. And when you play, and you see quickly will be all particles exploded, but we'll make from 500 the speed to 50, and we don't want all of the particles be at the same time exploded. And for this, we on nxExplode, we can use fields. Spherical fields help greatly to define which part of particles or the shape can be exploded. We'll make it 25 the size, and this is we can play and choose the right place for the text and for the animation. Now we start to trace the particles. And for tracing them, we will go again to the generators. And in generators, we select xpTrail. And then drag xpEmitter to the emitter. Then you can see quickly all the particles who have motions have a trail now. But we should turn all of these trails to object. For this mesh, we should go to generators and choose xpOpenVDBMesher and drag our xpTrailer here. Now is quickly all of our trails or trace now turn to the mesh. We go to the filter because it's a little bit too much, and you can add some filter to it and play with the width and the strength until we have the desired mesh from this trace. And you can play it again and see if everything is how we want at the beginning. We don't want to see it, and we want when the particles start move slowly building themselves. Maybe we make it strength a little bit less, 70, and iteration we change it to 8. And now I think work very beautifully. For render particles, we should go right click and choose render tag RS object, and we can in mode choose which kind of shape we want to have. We choose the sphere instances, and if you turn on IPR render in Redshift, you can see all of the particles now turn to selected sphere. But they don't have any material yet, and you can put one of RS, for now RS material, you can drag it and you can see the objects turn to RS material. And to put some reflection, we need some light here. And we just select, we go to the first render setting, and globals, we deactivate the default lights. We just keep it totally dark. It's good to do it. Then when you can add some lights, dome light, and you will see all the reflection on our particles. The background we don't need now. Just stay with the black. And let's play it again. Now we should make all of these particles random color. For this we choose another material, and for this the most easy one, choose the RS particle and replace it with the old one, and you see all of particles turn to the random colors. To select more random colors or different random color, you just need to select xpEmitter and select in display, then go to gradient random, and in gradient color you can select some presets, and when you choose presets you just need to play it again to refresh the color on your viewport. And IPR render, you select another color, again play it again, and it will be updated quickly and easily. Okay, let's back to our blue and white color, and for our DVBmesher we need new material. We go to the Redshift material and select Redshift material standard, and we need some glass, and with the standard will be quickly, you can just go to transmission. We change it to a beautiful green and weight to 1 because we want to give fully glassy, and replace it with the old material, and then add some extra roughness to it to make it more beautiful. I think this is enough, and if I a little bit just zoom on it, we can see a better look. It looks okay for now, and we don't need to change anything. Now we can add some area light to give the particles more realistic look. But before continue with the area light, we can go to option and disable the material from preview and play it again and select the best moment of the animation. We can add a camera, and in the render setting, in output, we can make output to 1080 and 1350. Can look like a Instagram post. Just a little bit zoom to have a better look. And we can back to the render again, and I think now it's look good in the camera. You can turn off the camera and working with the just area light. And if you back to the standard look, you have more space to position the lights. One light can be for the front, and the most easy is to add a target. And if you select the object, or here the text or the particles, now you can move the light easier and get in the direction to the particles. We position the light to the front, and we can make just a IPR render to see if everything is good. Just intensity, we can make it less and add to exposure. Maybe 3 or just a little bit more. I think 4 is okay. And we can back again to the standard look, make a copy from the light, and now we can make the second light and put it as a backlight. Back again to the IPR render and see how it looks like now. Look like much better. And for the backlight, we can make it a little bit less, and the front light also just 3.5. And make it just a quick preview rendering for us. And we can add to sampling, because if we just add more samples, we will have less noises. But we should be here very careful, because we'll make the render time very slow. The more samples you have, the more slow will be. And this is the reason we will put to 500 and just make a preview, render test. And I think this is okay. We can keep it just for 500 for this frame. Let's look without any noises. And finally, if you play with the size of the spherical field from nxExplode and change the position and play again, you can see the particles interactively change the position based on the field position. And this will help you to make quickly new style frame. Okay, let's start with the text xpline and create a new cool effect with the xp system using xpFlowField and xpTrail. And text xpline help us to emit the particles from the edges. Let's create a new scene. We use the text xpline, and with the same font that we have already, create a new xp system. And if we play, we can see that the default is a rectangle. We need to go to xp emitter, object, emitter shape, change it to the object. We put text or utility on utility to make it more organized. Select xp emitter and drag to the object. Immediately will be emitted from the object. We don't need the speed for now. We can change the bitrate to 5000. More particle will make the effects more beautiful. And we keep the emission rate. We go to object, and we change the emit from to points. Nothing is still happening. And if we go to emission and change the speed, now you can see the particles are emitting from the points. We go to Emmit From and change it to the edge. This is what we are looking for, emitting from the edge, but we need some dynamic now. And we choose in dynamic xpFlowField. xpFlowField create random, beautifully shape of the moving particles. Here you can active and deactivate the random, and you can see how it will affect the movement of the particles. Let's move the flow field and make it the size of our text. This will help us to make it more faster, the particle, when we are using xpFlowField. In xpFlowField, we have now the random shapes, and we can make the cell size smaller. And if we back to xpEmmitter, we can make the 25 the speed, make it more slowly. And we go to the flow field and make the strength to 100. Here are other options that you can play with. For example, you can click on invert, and you can see, and when we invert it, the particles movement also will be changed. And you can create new effects and cool movement. Now we need trails. We go to generators, create xpTrail, and drag on emitter our xpEmmitter, and as you can see, we have quickly trails for particles and make it very, very beautiful. Now we can go to xpFlowField, and you can see here we can add other shaders or other options. To play, we stay with the random, and the field we can change from direction to velocity, and if we change the velocity, will be affect the speed. Then we make speed to only, we can start to 4 and see very, very slowly. I think 25 is what we are looking for. Yes, 25 work perfectly for us, and we stay with the speed 25 and the field velocity. Now we should go and work on rendering, because we go to the Redshift and IPR render, we don't see anything. And for this, you should go to xpTrail, right click, and go to render tag and add RS object. And if you selected mode, we can choose cylinder. And when we play it again, and with IPR active, and you can see start show the renders. And we can see all of the trails beautifully rendered. And this is the default color, and we can now put some material on it. Before we go to the displays and the emitter displays and change the color, we go to the gradient mode and select the particle gradient, and we can go to emission and change the radius to 1. And I think it's a little bit still big. We can change it to the 0.5. Now we can see the particles and the movement of the trails, and at the same time we want the trails have the color of the random color of the particles. For this, we go create a material, we go Redshift Material standard, and drag and drop on our xpTrail. But to make it a random color, we should go to, if we go to IPR render, we see still we don't have any random color. We put a dumb light to without background. We want to keep it black, and if we choose we can activate the background here. We stay black, and we don't see still color, any color. For this, we must double click on the material, and in a standard we just need to choose Vertex Attribute, and the out color you can put on color. And now here the preset, you choose curve color. Then if you play again, just to refresh the IPR, you can see that all of the trails get exact color of the particles, the gradient that we already give to the particles. Very simple. You can change, if you want to change the color, you go to XP Emitter, load preset, and change another color and play it again. And you see, will be quickly updated with the new color. You can select another color and play with it until you found your interesting color for this project. Now we create a cool effects, very simple, very quickly. We can go to the Redshift if we want to render. First, the output we change to 1080, 1350, and we can have some Instagram look, like a post, and we can make a render to see how it looks like. And if you want the text also be rendered, you can put also on the text some render object to see how the outline will be rendered quickly. And for this, we can go to the material and create Incandencent Material. And now will be light. We will have light for the outline of the text. You can go and change the thickness from 1 to half. And I think this looks good for now. And you can see how quickly and easily can work with the render shift and xparticle at the same time. And if you turn off the random flow field, you can see will be totally different results. And you can also try with other options like adding to a spline or along to a spline. And let's go try to add to a spline this time instead of random. And if you select to a spline and have object, you can easily drag and drop the text spline to the object. And you can see quickly the preview of the flow field and show totally another beautiful movement for the trails. And if we go to the IPR render, let's make it bigger now. And you can see we easily, with just one click, created a beautiful new effect. We can change the color in display again and play with it. And in IPR active, and we can see how it look like the new colors on our IPR render. All the time you choose a new color, you should play it again and refresh the IPR render to see the changes. That was very beautiful for now, and I think you can try to play with it and create your own style and design with these simple, very, very simple techniques using xparticle and Redshift Render. You will have a lot of place for creativity, for your own creativity. Now we can make a render for us to see how it look like the final look. I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and please don't forget to subscribe for future upcoming tutorials.